Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q2 FY22 earnings conference call of KI Industries Limited, hosted by Monarch Networth Capital Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Anubhav Rawat from Monarch Networth Capital Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is safe and healthy. We are pleased to host the senior management team of KI Industries today, and we have with us Mr. Anil Gupta, Chairman and Managing Director of the company, and Mr. Rajiv Gupta, CFO of the company. Let us start this call with management's initial comments about the results, and then we can take your questions. Over to you, Anil, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon. I welcome you all to our KI's Q2 results conference call. I'll give a brief about the performance of the company in Q2 and the first half of financial year 21-22. Net sales in Q2 of this FY22 is rupees 1,353.43 crore against rupees 1,036.94 crore last year. So the growth achieved is 30.52%. Company has achieved highest ever quarterly sales in this quarter if we compare it with our past history. EBITDA in this quarter is rupees 148.83 crore against 121.76 crore. The growth in EBITDA is 22.23%. EBITDA/net sale margin is 11% as against 11.74% in the same period previous year. EBITDA margin declined mainly because of some expenses normalized back to pre-COVID level and sharp fluctuations in the input cost. Profit after tax this quarter is 91.98 crore against rupees 68.06 crore in the same quarter previous year. Growth in profit after tax is 35.15%. Profit after tax/net sales margin has improved to 6.8% versus 6.56% last year same period. The domestic institutional cable sale of high tension and low tension cable is rupees 420 crore against 307 crore. So the growth is approximately 37%. And domestic institutional cable sales of extra high voltage cable is rupees 154 crore in the second quarter against 102 crore in the previous year same period. The growth is approximately 51%. Export sale in this quarter is rupees 129 crore, in which cable 86 crore, EPC 18 crore, and stainless steel wire 25 crore, against rupees 160 crore last year. The decline is approximately 19%, mainly because of sales to Dangote Oil Refinery last year against a very large order of 450 crore. The sales to Dangote in the same period was 41 crore. So the total institutional cable institutional sale contributed approximately 49% in the second quarter against 52% in the same period last year. Sales through dealer/distribution network achieved is rupees 580 crore in this quarter against rupees 348 crore in the same period last year. So the growth achieved is approximately 67%. From the beginning of the year 2021, company has been working on strengthening its dealer network and has expanded its marketing network by adding around 150 additional salespeople from electrical and FMEG product background at different levels on pan-India basis. This has resulted into good growth in the dealer network and this segment. The total active working dealers of the company as on 30th September 2021 was approximately 1,700. Sales through dealer network contributed 43% in second quarter against 34% contributed last year in the same period. The sales of EPC division, EPC sale other than cable is rupees 92 crore as against rupees 133 crore. The decline is approximately 31% in the second quarter. So out of the stainless steel wire sale in Q2 of financial year 21-22 is rupees 52 crore against rupees 33 crore in the same period last year. The growth is approximately 54%. Now the net sales in the first half of 2021, first 6 months, H1, achieved is 2,371 crore against rupees 1,782 crore achieved last year. So the growth in net sales in the first half is overall 6 months is 33%. EBITDA growth in the first half is 28%, 28.4% compared to last year. And EBITDA/net sales margin is 11.19% as against 11.59% in the same period last year. Profit after tax in the first half is 159 crore against 107 crore in the last year. The growth in the profit after tax is 48%, 48.28%. The net profit margin over net sales has improved to 6.71% versus 6.02% last year. The sales of domestic institutional cable sale in the first half, the growth achieved is 60%, and in the extra high voltage cable sale in the first half is 183 crore in the first half against 90 crore achieved in the previous year same period. We had some pending dispatches in the first quarter which were affected in the second quarter in this year. Export sale in the first half is rupees 222 crore against 343 crore. The decline is approximately 35%. Again, the reason explained to a large sales of 137 crore done to Dangote Oil Refinery last year in the first half of the last financial year. The total institutional cable sale contributed 49% in the first half against last year same period 57%, and the sales through dealer network contributed 41% against 30% last year. The sales for 6 months through dealer network is 967 crore against 534 crore. The growth is approximately 81% in the first half of this financial. Similarly, the EPC sale is in the first half is 178 crore against 211 crore. Decline is approximately 16%. This is in line with our previous guidance to lower EPC business and restrict it to 10 to 12% of the total revenue. Out of the total sales of EPC, the sale of the extra high voltage cable execution portion is 55 crore. Stainless steel wire sale in the first half of financial year 2021-22 is rupees 100 crore against 54 crore. So the growth is approximately 83% during first half in stainless steel wire business. The current pending order position is overall 3,296 crore, out of which 1,077 crore is EPC orders. In this, 663 crore are export EPC, which are World Bank and ADB funded projects in Nepal and Gambia in Africa. The pending order position of extra high voltage cables and its execution portion is 532 crore. Domestic orders against domestic customers is 1,525 crore, and export orders pending are 162 crore of the cables. The company's credit rating from ICRA, CARE and India Rating is AA- for long-term bank facilities and A1+ for short-term bank facilities. The book value per equity share of the company is rupees 215.16 as on September 30th, 2021, as against rupees 197.38 as on 31st March 2021. The total borrowing, including channel finance, of rupees 144 crore as on 30th September. So the total borrowing including channel finance is 340 crore, and cash and bank balances of 64 crore as against borrowing of 305 crore and cash and bank balances rupees 221 crore as on 31st March 2021. Acceptance of that means creditors against letter of credit as on 30th September is rupees 128 crore as against 323 crore as on 31st March 2021. So the net debt including acceptance is almost at par at rupees 405 crore as against 408 crore as on 31st March 2021. It was 922 crore as on 31st March 2020. During the first half of financial year 21-22, finance cost has decreased to rupees 21.36 crore as against 31.74 crore in the previous year same period. Percentage of financial charges on net sales has decreased to 0.9% of the net sales from 1.78% a year ago. So the company has used operating cash flows for cash purchases, resulting into reduction of trade payables acceptances substantially by rupees 195 crore as compared to March 21, which has further reduced finance cost during the first half. Though it may impact certain financial ratios like ROC, return on capital employed and working capital cycle, but it has benefited the company in the form of reduction in the finance cost. Future outlook, our strategy is to increase continuously retail sale and downsizing EPC business is working well, and in future within 2 years time our retail sale will reach at 50% of the total sales of the company with annual growth of 30 to 35% per annum in retail business, which is evident from H1 first half results of financial year 2022. The retail business offers superior growth prospects with better margins and lower working capital requirements. The capacity utilized during first half of 21-22 is 67% in cable division, 62% in house wire division, and nearly 100% in stainless steel wire division. So the company already has capacity in place to achieve growth for the next financial year. The company is in process to expand the capacity by setting up a greenfield project for LT, HT and extra high voltage cable with an investment of rupees 700 to 800 crore, which will be incurred in 3 to 4 years time to maintain 17 to 18% CAGR growth for the coming years. Our last 15 years CAGR is 15%, and in last 5 years the company has achieved a CAGR of 20% except financial year 2020-21. Overall, company is targeting more than 25% growth in the current financial year with strong order book in hand and good demand from the government and private capex. Further, the company is also exploring various options of unique opportunities to launch some additional FMEG products at appropriate time, and probably at the end of financial year 2022, we'll be able to give some more concrete details on FMEG later. The industry outlooks and demand drivers, we have seen strong demand coming from government capex as well as private capex. Broad-based growth across all categories and sectors. We have seen good upside in real estate projects and demand from residential sector in the metro cities, as well as the tier 2B and tier C cities. Capex in industrial sector continues a good demand from solar power projects and oil and gas sector, refinery expansions, fuel upgradation and capacity upgradation projects. A lot of investment is coming up in tunneling and tunnel ventilation projects along with railways as well as highways, which offers a good opportunity for the supply of cables to these projects. Underground cabling projects of transmission and distribution in metro cities and tier B cities. Conversion of overhead cable and overhead lines into underground cabling. Metro rail projects, bullet train projects as being executed between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. Modernization of railway stations, smart city projects, modernization of new airports, ports, etc. And construction of highways resulting into elimination of overhead network into underground cabling. Steel industry expansion and the expansions in other industrial sectors. So this is a broad outlook, and I would now invite you, if you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Rahul Agarwal from InCred Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon, and congratulations for a very good set of numbers given the circumstances. I had 3 quick questions. Firstly, on the housing wire, the sale was 400 crores. I think that beats your own guidance as well as our estimates as well. First question on that: is this a normal quarterly run rate going forward, or this had some element of pent-up demand for 1Q? And obviously, second half generally is better than first half for cable and wire companies. So, what kind of run rate are we looking for housing wire? That's my first question.
No, there is no doubt there is a pent-up demand, but the run rate will improve from here. I mean, we expect an improvement from this number in the coming months.
So for full year, what kind of numbers we should look at for housing wire?
So as we have earlier guided that in the houseware segment, we will grow for this year will be close to 2x sale we are planning to do. So already we are in the path, and as per we have engaged the consultant for guiding us for the policy and making strategies. We are taking the help of the digitalization. So we have now we have developed an app wherein all the retailers, electricians and distributors are on that page. So we are able to guide them where they are lagging behind, so that the whole centralized monitoring is going on while we are doing the dealer sale of houseware. So that project is going on. So whereas our focus is to increase the number of distributors all across the country, then each distributor has to increase the number of retailers in their folds. And we are also going to engage more and more electricians and architects because they are influencer.
Specifically answer your questions, I expect a growth of around 50 to 60% in this financial year as compared to last financial year.
Got it, sir. So secondly, on the gross margins, obviously they were down, but you maintained EBITDA margins quite decently. Given Havells and Polycab both reported suboptimal cable and wire margins, what was your strategy in the second quarter? Because what we understood was copper was easier to pass through because that's a very established method, but other metals like steel, aluminum, as well as PVC was very tough. So what really happened in terms of price hikes, and how did you manage that?
Better, purchase management and inventory management, linking to the orders booking.
Okay, got it. And lastly, on the capex, so first half looks like you just spent 22 crores. My sense was, this was the first year to basically start our large capex. So we just guide, please, for the current year and next year capex. I think some delay of this year will be caught up in next year. So any sense on that? Thank you.
So we are in the process of acquiring the land because we are buying the agricultural land. So little bit small hiccups are there. So now it is being resolved within this quarter itself. So then we are going to spend around, as we have earlier guided also, 200 crore rupees per annum we will be investing. So in that case, once we got the land, then the major investment will start over there in land, building, plant, machinery, etc.
So for this year, it looks like the capex is going to be below 100 crore. The next year it will be higher.
100 crore. Definitely it will be below 100 crore now because it will be land and then the construction will start.
Right. And next year we should assume 200 to 50 or how is it?
Maybe, close to 250 crore next year.
Okay, sir. I'll come back in the queue. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dhaval Sheth from Emkay Global. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, sir. I'm Naval Sheth from MK. Few questions on revenue, like EHV segment. If I look at on first half basis, because
sorry
last
to
quarter
interrupt you, Mr. Naval, but your voice is coming too low, sir. Can you please
Yeah.
check?
Now it is better.
Yeah.
Okay. So my first question is on EHV segment. On first half basis, if I look at the number on an average is lower than pre-COVID number or last year also. So what kind of growth you are expecting in H2 in EHV? Second, on stainless steel, you are already at 100% capacity utilization and strong numbers in H1. So is this run rate sustainable, or there were some one-off orders in first half which led to this kind of run rate?
First of all, stainless steel wire, this run rate is absolutely maintainable. Even I think if we have more capacity, we can sell as much what we can produce. So we are adding some additional capacity of 15% in the same plant by debottlenecking. That process is on, and I think within next 1 to 2 months that capacity will come. So the growth will further come in this division in the fourth quarter. So far as EHV is concerned, because of the lot of turbulence in the commodity cycles, lot of customers have not finalized orders during the second quarter. So we first or second quarter, a lot of orders are under discussion, and I think in the first quarter in commentary I had mentioned that we were not able to dispatch lot of cables because of the non-clearance from the customers. So that were dispatched in the second quarter, and hence the 51% growth has come in the second quarter. So we hope that some more orders are in the pipeline and which will be materialized, and overall growth in this segment looks to be 10 to 15% only in the whole year.
Sure. And thirdly, on volume growth, if you can bifurcate in house wires or LT cables, so how has been the trend? Because LT cable, I believe the volumes are still under pressure. So by when we are expecting things to normalize?
See, if we talk of only house wire sale, then close to 16-17% in first half was the volume growth, through the volume growth out of the total incremental sale. But if we talk of the company as a whole, on the basis of the production we have grown close to 24% in terms of volume. Because whatever production we had made, which will be going into the third quarter, because now our run rate of per month sale has increased. So that's why little bit finished goods inventory has got also increased. So this is the sign wherein we are consuming the material more as compared to last year. So overall volume growth is close to 24%.
Understood. And sir, last question on retention money. Any update you want to share? What you have stated that 150 crores will be recovered this year. So anything on that incremental?
Yeah, उसमें से 50 करोड़ रुपया आ भी चुका है. Already we have received around 50 crore rupees, and by end of this year, additional 100 crore will come.
Understood. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best. I'll come back in the queue.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Lavina Kudros from Jefferies. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity and congrats on a good set of numbers. Two questions. One is, again, the standard, what is the interest rate breakup for across, different heads for the quarter?
Yeah, Lavina, you can note down. In this quarter, our term loan interest is only 0.5 crore, and working capital interest is only 2.27 crore, and the other interest on LC etc. 1.81 crore. So the total working capital interest is 4.08 crore, and then we have the LC interest is very, very nominal, just only 5 lakh rupees, and bank charges hardly close to 1.73 crore, and the processing fee of the bank is close to 3.5 crore rupees. So overall is 9.95 crore is the interest cost.
Correct. And sir, just to understand your working capital, when I look at it, your current liabilities has come down. That's because you all are choosing to pay cash, right?
Yes,
and reduce interest. So I'm just trying to understand that.
Yes.
So that's the only reason. There is nothing else there, right?
That's the only reason, because we are getting the direct benefit by way of the interest saving, which is already evident from the balance sheet itself.
Okay, so you're setting that up. And sir, just to understand,
but the negative side of this is you must be seeing the cash operating flow is the negative, because we have paid extra to the creditors actually.
Yes, sir, that's the reason I asked. So basically, that is the reason. Got it. And so the other thing is, I know on retail you all have mentioned that 50-60% is the outlook for the full year. But just wanted to clarify again, there is nothing one-off in this quarter on the revenue line, right? So therefore, this run rate should continue to improve, like you're saying.
Coming quarters, the revenue will be again up from this quarter. That I can say.
And it's been you think it's the market size growing, or it's you all gaining share, if you have to put your finger on it?
Market is growing, demand is increasing, our retail distributor network is increasing, because as you know, we are having the different vertical of the sales, like in export, sale is increasing, retail is increasing, our other low tension, high tension power cable sale is increasing. So some growth is coming from the volume and some growth is coming from the value. So both has contributed.
Got it. And so last question, on your EPC side of the business, you all have still done reasonable numbers in this quarter. So on a full year, it will possibly be 7 to 8 billion? You think it ends this year at?
Our total sale of EPC was like last year, other than the extra high voltage EPC, close to 500 crore. It will be below the 500 crore this year also.
Because we have not booked any new orders in last 2 years in EPC side, except one order from Gambia, which is a World Bank aided project.
Got it. Thank you.
We are doing only the profitable business. That's it.
And having complete price variation on all elements of the project, including steel, cables, everything.
Understood. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Charanjit Singh from DSP Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, Charanjit.
Sir, first of all, congratulations on good set of numbers in a very tough environment. My first question is, in terms of the competitive intensity from smaller players, how you are seeing that in this quarter, unorganized versus organized? And in terms of, our market share, will you be able to share some numbers? That's my first question.
See, the unorganized sector has already reducing because of their personal issues like working capital availability and the capital they are not having. and also the management bandwidth they are not having. So because of those, additional demand is coming to the top companies, number one, and they are losing market share by 2-3%. They have already reduced to 27% as compared to 30%, and by end of this year they will come out to 25% market share by all the unorganized sector in the houseware segment. Hello, Charanjit ji?
Okay. Yeah. So I got that. So on the this is, you are talking only about the housing wire or both housing wires and cables put together?
In cable, mainly the organized player, because there is quality issues and the inspection issues. So all the companies, those who are having in the range of 200 crore to 600 crore, they are also competing. But since they are also struggling with the working capital issues and the management bandwidth issues, so the additional demand we are getting.
Okay, sir. And so from the current, capacity utilization perspective, can you tell us what are the capacity utilizations right now across different plants?
Current capacity utilization in the cable segment is close to 67%, and in the case of houseware that is 62% because we have added the capacity 1.5 years before, and in stainless steel wire division almost we are operating at 100%.
Okay, sir. And so now, Anilji also talked about that the overall outlook is extremely positive, and we could see maybe a longer cycle in terms of how the infrastructure overall things are picking up. Would you be able to give us more from a 3 years perspective how KEI looks itself, in terms of one is the top line and how our margin profile can change over the years as we scale up the top. Additionally, the retail thing in terms of housewares where we are trying to scale up in a big way, how that contribution will be in the next 3 years time frame. Yeah.
I think we have already given, some guidance about that we expect retail business to grow by 30 to 35% year on year because our complete focus is there on the, and this I'm talking of housewares and our cable, houseware flexibles and cables through retail network. And outlook looks strong. I think that a good amount of capex is coming up in all over the country, and it will further expand from government as well as private capex, and including the solar power projects. So we are confident that a growth of 18 to 20% or 17 to 18%, what we are projecting for coming financial year is feasible, and retail growth of 30 to 35% because the focus is there. This year, because of the lower base last year, we are expected to grow overall 25 or maybe even 30%. Because of the lower base of the last year.
Okay, sir. And so on the retail or side of the business, the housing wire, if you can just give us update in terms of the addition of manpower or the distributors, what we have added in this quarter, and for the second half, what is our plan further on the housing wire side? Yeah, that's my last question.
We have already mentioned that we have added close to 150 salespeople all over India, in the retail network, in the company, and our total dealer numbers are 1,700. But more than number, the number may not have increased, but our whole aim is to strengthen and increase the output from the already existing dealers. Means we are trying to increase their volumes. Each and every dealer must grow by 50% to 70%. That is the endeavor what we are doing, and our teams are helping them in doing secondary sale and other tertiary sale, and then the business development process, including reaching out to the influencers, which may include architects or consultants or the electricians in the lower segment. So this is the whole process we are we are undergoing at the moment. And similarly, the intense training of the sales staff towards that direction.
Okay. Yes, sir. That's from my side. Thanks a lot for taking the questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nikatia from SINPL. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So thanks for the opportunity. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So, in case of retail wiring, if you can just further dwell on our understanding, since you're guiding strong, growth outlook, of this, how much would you attribute this 30-35% targeted growth on, let's say, stronger industry demand, market share gains from unorganized, or let's say from other leaders in this category? Also, if you can just throw some more light on what exactly, when we say we are acquiring market share, even with from some organized players, what is the value proposition here largely? Is price we are competing on, or is it something else? So, if you could just elaborate on some soft points there.
Definitely, there is a increase in the market demand. Some portion will come from there, and some growth we are taking from the shifting from unorganized to organized sector, and some a little bit of market share from the existing large players, the shifting of market share. So it is difficult to quantify that what growth is coming from where, because that minute data, micro data is not available at the moment.
Correct.
Because we have increased the reach, because we have added the number of people, almost 150 people on the ground all across the country. So wherever we were not present or our manpower was not sufficiently having this time to handle, because earlier they were having only 5 cities, 7 cities. Now they are concentrating more on 1 city or 2 cities. So these kind of penetration and the time they are giving to the secondary market, so it is improving the sales.
Okay. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ankit Kumar from Alpha Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Congrats for a very good set of numbers. So my first question would be, we have done really well on managing the cost in terms of margins this quarter compared to our peers. So any guidance on how second half is going to be, because the copper prices are still quite volatile?
You see, our margin earlier also basically maintained between 10.5% to 11.5%. So we will be in the same range actually, because we don't have much margin. So that's why we are operating in a very tight situation. So we have the market, like I said, export, extra high voltage power cable, little bit EPC, and low tension and high tension power cable and dealer distributor sales. So each and every segment we are taking care. So the same kind of I will be there.
So far as input cost volatility is there, we are managing it well by taking good position on metals and other raw materials also in terms of vis-a-vis our orders booked. So we have not been hit by any input cost volatility so far.
Okay, sir. Next question would be, there has been decent level of promoter selling in the last 3 months. Any reason for that, and what can we expect in terms of?
So whatever selling was there was close to 20 lakh shares. He want to sell because he want to use for the personal use. So he want to buy the house in the Delhi. So he has bought also.
And that money has been used for buying a residential property for our use.
And so no more plans to selling.
Right?
No.
Sure. Got it, sir. And sir, on Dangote, there was nothing done in the last half of last year. So am I right on that? Second half, there was nothing on Dangote.
There was nothing.
Okay, sir. And sir, overall guidance for second half would be, as in we have done 30% for the first half, and we were used to guiding 18-20% long term? So second half would be equally strong in terms of 30% odd, or how should we look at it?
We see as our overall guidance earlier was the 20% growth. Now our guidance is growth more than 25%.
Actually, we are very conservative in giving guidance. So, but we have always performed better than the guidance.
So whatever extra will be there, extra will be there.
Sure, sir. Thank you and all the best, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sameer Patel from AUM Finance. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, can you just highlight on the working capital cycle, as in because our inventory has increased by 150 crores, that I can understand with the increased sales, but our payables have also reduced by around 150 crores. So what is currently happening?
So the payable has reduced because of the lowering of the interest cost. So whatever cash we were having, so we have utilized for cash purchase and reducing the creditors, so that we have saved the interest cost. As far as inventory finished goods has increased because of the higher valuation as well as the higher run rate now. And sometimes in a single order, sometimes inspection got delayed, so it will be dispatched in the next month. So these are the normal things actually.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Sameer Patel. There is an echo which is coming from your lines.
So what is your target on in number of days for the capital cycle?
So number of days for the inventory is close to 2.25 months, and for the receivable close to 3 months. Already it has reached to 3.42 months. It will further come down to 3 months by end of this year.
Okay,
but
and on the payable end?
Payable, because we are having the cash, so we are saving the interest cost. That's why we are paying to payable. Otherwise, in the earlier, we were having the 3 months payable. Now is only 1.25 months payable.
Okay. So so that means that our working capital cycle will increase to almost 4 months mota moti by the year end. That is your...
हमारे हाथ में है ना, because if we want to pay creditors, then it is working capital cycle looks like high. But if we don't want to pay creditors, then working capital cycle will go down to 2.8 months or maybe less than that. Because that is the creditor which is the available period is 3 months. But we are paying because we are getting extra benefit.
Okay, okay. And sir, currently the term loan that we have, what is the interest percentage on that?
It is close to 6%, because it's a ECB loan. Close to 32 crore is outstanding term loan.
Acha. Okay, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rahul Agarwal from InCred Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the follow-up. Sir, just a couple of questions. One is debtor balance, as you highlighted, it's a bit higher. Is it related to that extra EHV order dispatch or is it something else?
No, debtor holding is getting down. Earlier it was 3.87 months. तो जितना पैसा EPC से वापस आता जा रहा है, तो हल्के-हल्के वो डाउन हो रहा है. अभी देखिए 3.42 months का आ गया. By end of this year, it will go down to 3 months level only.
So I understand. I was referring to the absolute number, 1,380 crores.
तो depend on holding ना, because 3 महीने अगर सेल बढ़ेगी तो debtor तो बढ़ेगा ना.
Okay, got it. And lastly, you said your current capacity is enough to cover fiscal 23 growth. Is that correct?
Yes. Financial year 22-23, we will be having the capacity close to achieve the top line of 6,200 crore plus.
Okay, got it, sir. Thank you so much. Best wishes for Diwali, sir.
Thank you, Rai.
Thank you.
Happy Diwali to you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rajiv Mehra from Phantom Wealth. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, sir. Congrats on a good set of numbers. Sir, obviously, you touched upon the margins. I just wanted to understand the sustainability of margins going ahead. Should be in the range of 10.5% to 11%, as you mentioned. Is that correct?
Yes. But normally, since we have crossed the bridge of 11%, so hopefully we will be targeting 11%.
Okay. And sir, if you could just touch upon your export business. Going ahead, what kind of traction are we seeing there? And what could be the contribution going ahead in the next, say, in the next financial year or maybe in the next coming couple of years? And also in your opening remarks, you touched upon the launching of a couple of products on the FMEG side. If you could just touch upon your CapEx plan or how much spending have you done on that segment, and what could be the contribution going ahead in the next couple of years from this side?
In export front, Anilji has a specific focus, and we will be maintaining close to 10 to 12% export, because of our sales, our run rate will be close to 500 crore this year, and next year will be more than 600 crore export. With regards to FMEG, we are in the planning stage, and just we are waiting to settle down our houseware business to grow by 100% this year, so that we will be on the path of 50% contribution through the dealer distributor business of the whole company. So we are in the process, and hopefully by end of this quarter or maybe in the fourth quarter call, we will be giving you the certain guidelines that for which product we are going ahead. Definitely we will be going ahead, because all the manpower which we have taken has come from the various background of FMEG. With regards to CapEx for the new FMEG product in the initial 2-3 years, it will be through outsourcing model only. So whatever CapEx we will be doing only for our existing product range of cable.
Fair enough, sir. Thank you very much, sir, and happy Diwali.
Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manoj from Equirus Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, sir. Sir, you already mentioned about the support to dealers that you have been offering. Can you elaborate more, like what is the exact role that you are providing to your dealers other than engagement with the influencers? So what are the other kind of support that you are offering?
Yeah, support in terms of the incentive to the electrician and incentive to the retailer directly, so that we can map the sales.
No. The support we are providing to the dealers by way of through our business development teams, so that we are helping them to sell, to create demand for them in their area by approaching them by mapping the live projects, residential projects or whatever live projects where they aim to sell, and then helping them in tertiary sale, reaching out to influencers like architects or consultants or electricians. This is the help we can provide to them.
And sir, into more retailers also, because each distributor will have the more retailers.
Right, understood. So secondly, you have been guiding and you have always outperformed your guidance, and you have been guiding for the sustainable growth. But currently, obviously, there seems to be some pressure on volumes from the cable side, whereas post-COVID, if you look at demand for volumes have definitely picked up, and those has been pretty robust for the industry as a whole. How do you look at the cables demand with regards to volume in the coming times, and what do you think would be the key triggers over there?
We have already mentioned that key triggers are the capex outline of government and private capex. So actually, if the demand will always come from the capex, be in the infrastructure, in the industry, new industries, in the new real estate buildings, construction sector. The demand will always come. They are the demand drivers. I think in my initial commentary, I have mentioned the demand drivers and the business outlook.
Right. No, I do understand that. But with regards to volumes, obviously, even when the last year we were expecting some demand to pick up. So not KEI in specific, but the industry as a whole from fourth quarter. So was just trying to understand on that.
It is for the industry as a whole. The demand pickup benefits everybody, not only KEI.
Right. So you did mention on the gross margin pressure that obviously because of the RM volatility, there was some sequential impact on gross margins. So would you attribute the total impact on sequential basis purely on the basis of volatility, or there has been some channel hesitancy as well? with regards to price hike?
Yeah.
This is my last question.
Some volatility, there are mixed reasons. The volatility of the prices as well as when the prices goes up very high, definitely there is some deferment of purchases by the customers. But eventually, when the prices settles down in say 15 days or a month's time, that purchase comes back because they cannot indefinitely delay their purchases.
Right. Understood. Thanks a lot, sir, and wish you all the best for the coming quarters.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Srinidhi Karlekar from HSBC. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for the opportunity and congratulations on good set of numbers. So my first question is on this government's recent scheme on power distribution sector where they plan to spend about 3 lakh crore. Lot of it goes in cables and high voltage distribution infrastructure. So just wanted to know your perspective. Does that really improve the volume growth or outlook for the power cable segment? And does it improve the visibility as well, or it's just the packaging of the existing demand that anyways come?
See, all these packages of 3 lakh crore what government is giving, basically it definitely improves the demand of electrical products for these power utilities indirectly. What happens is that this money is given to them for cleaning up their balance sheets, so that they become eligible for fresh borrowing. Because all these utilities are incurring losses due to lower tariffs than their cost, and or whatever technical and commercial losses they incur due to the tariff or to the theft, etc. of electricity. So year on year basis, government keeps on giving them new packages to clean up their balance sheets, and when they clean up, they need capex. So they come up with the fresh capex. They again become eligible for further loans from Power Finance Corporation, REC or banks. So, and they are able to pay back to the generating companies for the power purchase. So no, everywhere then ultimately the money rotates back in some form or the other.
Yeah, but sir, this time it sounded like it is very project specific and they want to spend it only on 2 areas. One is like, of course, is smart metering, and another is they typically talk about cabling. So I was just wondering, is it different, or it's like Uday 1.0 where balance sheet is getting improved? Yeah.
No, I don't have much detail about smart metering. I'm aware, but cabling is definitely will there because it is only through cables that they can eliminate the theft and reduce the technical losses in the transmission.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the purpose of the project is to reduce the technical and commercial losses and improve the metering.
Fair enough, sir. And sir, I just want to know how large is the solar cable business for KEI and how large is this overall solar cable industry in India? And sir, related second question is, you in the past you have highlighted that how utility solar power plant increases demand for cable business because evacuation of power happens through cables as against overhead transmission. So I just wanted to know how much percentage of the cases actually the evacuation of power happens through cables and how much happens through overhead transmission?
This industry has become very big, and you must have seen that even Reliance Industries and Adani are coming up in a very big way in manufacturing of solar panels and battery storage systems. As on now, the yearly targets are 20 to 25,000 megawatt additional capacity in the solar power generation. And so far, these developers were mainly dependent from import from China. Now, indigenous capacities are coming up, which will give more stability to this sector in times to come. So far as cable demand in these projects is concerned, I think there is roughly 6 to 8% of the capex goes into cables because the entire evacuation of the power is done through 33 kV cables and then connect it to the grid and for further transmission.
And sir, how large would it be for KEI already, this business, in terms of percentage?
KEI is already, I think, exact numbers I have no quantification at the moment, but at least 250 to 300 crore worth of cables are going into solar business directly or indirectly through the developer.
Right. Fair enough. And sir, like in the past, sir, company did collaborated with a Swiss company to get the capabilities on EHV side. I was just wondering, are some schemes, are such partnerships are in the works to build capabilities on the offshore wind power evacuation cables? Because there, I think you need submersible cables. Just wondering. I know it's not a immediate demand in market, but come few years out, you would have demand for these. So just wondering, are plans there to develop these cables?
No, at present, no. But we will. We also are looking for opportunities. Whenever the good demand comes, we will also try to tap that.
Right, fair enough. And just last one, sir, if I may. So just want to understand this EHV cable. Is it fair to understand that the entire EHV cable, direct sales as well as through EPC, it goes to the distribution utilities, right? Eventual customer is distribution utilities, right?
No. Extra high voltage cables are always sold to transmission utilities because these cables are used for underground transmission of bulk power. And the transmission utilities, the transmission companies in various states and the central sector transmission company like Power Grid Corporation of India, they buy it, they transmit the cables through these to the distribution companies. So
right, yeah,
not a distribution product.
Fair enough. Thank you, sir, for answering my question, and all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last question for today, which is from the line of Amit Nawar from Edelweiss. Please go ahead.
Hello, Anilji, Rajivji. Congratulations on great retail ramp-up and consistency. So I only have one question. Typically, it seems the dealer network and the ground presence is more eastern focused. You can correct me if I'm wrong, or can you give some details of which regions have driven this super growth of more than 50% in first half in houseware retail? Thank you.
I think all regions across the country have given this growth, but our strongest regions are northern region, north and eastern India, and even west is also performing very well. And we are also ramping up the marketing positions in South India. They have also done decently well, and they will also come up to the level within the next 3 to 4 months.
Okay, that's helpful, sir. Thank you, and good luck for the future growth.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as this was the last question for today, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
So I thank you all our investors who have joined this conference call, and I wish all of you a very happy and prosperous Diwali and the new year, a new summer. So thank you very much. If you still have any further questions, you can reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and wish you all happy Diwali.
Thank you. On behalf of KEI Industries and Monarch Networth Capital Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.